8 seconds. That's all it took. A hallway. White walls. Fluorescent lights. Footsteps echoing off marble floors. A man in a navy suit walks toward the camera. His face is flushed. His jaw is set. His eyes carry something dangerous. Behind him, a woman runs. Her phone is up. The camera is recording. Her voice shakes, but the words are clear. I've seen images of shredded children's bodies. Your tax dollars are bombing those children. The man stops. He turns slowly. He looks directly into the camera. And he says the words that should have ended his political career. You know what? I think we should kill them all, if that makes you happy. Pause. The woman holds her breath. Everyone. In Hamas. The video ends there. 8 seconds of footage that 2 million people would watch in the first 24 hours. 8 seconds that Al Jazeera would broadcast worldwide. 8 seconds that CAIR would use to launch a national censure campaign. 8 seconds that would prove something devastating about American democracy. Not that politicians say terrible things, but that some politicians face consequences for their words while others walk free. Because exactly 1 year earlier, another member of Congress had said something far less extreme. And she was censured by 234 votes within 72 hours. Her name was Rashida Tlaib. His name is Andy Ogles. Same building. Same rules. Different outcomes. This is the story of 8 seconds that exposed the two-tier justice system in America. The Rayburn House Office Building, 10:47 a.m. Andy Ogles was running late to a committee hearing. Federal Reserve monetary policy. Boring but necessary. He walked quickly through the second-floor corridor, his leather briefcase gripping his right hand, his phone buzzing with texts from staff about talking points he should have reviewed last night, but hadn't. He saw them waiting. 2 activists. Young. Early 20s. Palestinian keffiyehs wrapped around their shoulders. Phones already out. Ogles recognized the setup immediately. They'd been doing this for weeks now. Stopping members in hallways. Asking questions about Gaza. Recording everything. Posting the confrontations online. Most members walked past without engaging. Standard DC protocol when dealing with activists. Don't feed the content machine. But Andy Ogles wasn't most members. The Tennessee Republican had built his brand on confrontation. On saying what others wouldn't say. On refusing to back down from controversy. Congressman Ogles. The woman's voice cut through the hallway noise. He could have kept walking. Should have kept walking. Instead, he stopped. That decision would be replayed 2 million times in the next 24 hours. Are you aware of the ongoing genocide in Palestine right now? The question was designed to provoke. Genocide was the word activists used. Ogles rejected the framing entirely. He didn't stop walking. He looked down at his phone. Started typing something. Pretended not to hear. But the woman was persistent. Over 300 healthcare workers have been killed. Will you call for a ceasefire? Now Ogles stopped completely. He turned to face her. This was the moment. The decision point. Walk away or engage. Andy Ogles chose engagement. Let's be honest, he said. His voice was low but sharp. Hamas raped and murdered babies. The woman responded immediately. That's fake news. There's no evidence of that. The man behind her added, no evidence. Something snapped in Ogles at that moment. He'd spent the morning reading OC report drafts. The $320,000 loan story was about to explode. The FBI had taken his phone. Democrats were calling him George Santos 2.0. And now these kids, these activists, were calling him a liar about Hamas. His face reddened. You know what? The words came out harder than he intended. I think we should kill them all, if that makes you happy. The woman froze. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Everyone. In Hamas. But Ogles wasn't done. Because the woman tried to continue. Do you have a heart? Do you have a family? Ogles shot back. Hamas and the Palestinians have been attacking Israel for 20 years. It's time for accountability. The man yelled. Israel is the occupier. The woman added, Palestine was there first. Ogles shook his head. Your naivety doesn't make it true. And then he turned and walked away. But as he took 2 steps, he stopped. Turned back one more time. Looked directly at the camera. Death to Hamas. From behind him, a voice yelled, War criminal. Ogles opened the committee room door. Entered. The door closed behind him. Silence. That night when he got home, his wife Monica asked, How was your day? Normal, Andy said. Just a normal day. He had no idea that the video was already spreading across Twitter. He had no idea that by morning, 2 million people would have watched him say, "Kill them all." He had no idea that Al Jazeera English would make it breaking international news. Or maybe he did know. Maybe he just didn't care. Because Andy Ogles had learned something important about American politics in 2024. Some people face consequences for their words. Others don't. The video was posted at 11:30 a.m. by @Palestine Solidarity DC. A small account. 3,400 followers. No blue check. But sometimes small accounts start revolutions. First hour, 50 retweets. Second hour, 500. Third hour, 5,000. At 2:15 p.m., Al Jazeera English's official account shared it. That's when everything changed. The headline, U.S. Congressman tells pro-Palestine activist, "We should kill them all." The video went global. Dubai, London, Paris, Berlin, Jakarta. Subtitles in 47 languages. Andy Ogles' face on screens in 120 countries. By 3 p.m., it was trending in the United States. Hashtag Ogles War Criminal accumulated 47,000 tweets in the first hour. Hashtag Kill Them All trended alongside it. Hashtag Tennessee 5 began filling with constituent anger. In Ogles' congressional office, his press secretary Emma burst through the door. "Congressman, we have a situation." Andy looked up from his paperwork. "What situation?" Emma showed him her phone. Twitter. Ogles' face. The "Kill Them All" quote in giant text. Andy looked at the screen. His expression didn't change. He sighed. Okay. Emma's voice rose. "Congressman, this is going viral. We need to respond." Respond with what? An apology? A clarification? Something? Andy shook his head. "No apology. I meant Hamas, not Palestinians. Make that clear." "But Congressman, in the video you say Hamas and Palestinians in the same sentence." Then correct it. Say, "I was clearly referring to the Hamas terror organization." Got it. Emma took notes. Left the office. Andy went back to his files. But he couldn't focus. Because his phone was now exploding with notifications. Text messages from Republican colleagues. "Andy, what the hell?" Emails from constituents. Half supportive. Half furious. Twitter mentions climbing into the thousands. At 6 p.m., Al Jazeera English broadcast the story on television. Worldwide audience. Andy Ogles' face filled screens in hotel lobbies, airport terminals, living rooms across 6 continents. The anchor's words were measured but damning. The question many are asking tonight is whether a U.S. congressman calling for mass killing, even of a designated terror group, represents appropriate rhetoric from an elected official. At 7:30 p.m., CAIR issued its statement. The Council on American Islamic Relations, the largest Muslim civil rights organization in America. National Communications Director Ibrahim Hooper's words were direct. Representative Andy Ogles should be censured by the House of Representatives for casually endorsing genocide on camera. His words are not only morally reprehensible, but dangerous. They normalize violence and dehumanize an entire people. The statement continued, "We call on House leadership to take immediate action. If Representative Tlaib faced censure for far less inflammatory rhetoric, then Representative Ogles must face equal accountability." That last sentence was the key. Rashida Tlaib, the comparison that would define everything that followed. To understand what happened next, you have to understand what happened to Rashida Tlaib. November 7, 2023. The Michigan Congresswoman posted a video on X, formerly Twitter. The video showed a pro-Palestine protest. People chanting. Signs waving. One of those signs included the phrase, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." Tlaib shared the video with a caption supporting Palestinian freedom. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Republicans pounced. Within 24 hours, Representative Rich McCormick of Georgia introduced a censure resolution. Within 48 hours, 70 Republican House members had co-sponsored it. Within 72 hours, the House voted. The result, 234 to 188. Rashida Tlaib was censured. 22 Democrats voted against her, including Brad Schneider, Jared Moskowitz, and Josh Gottheimer. Even Bernie Sanders criticized her language, calling it unfortunate and easily misunderstood. The debate on the House floor was brutal. Republicans argued that "from the river to the sea" was a call for Israel's destruction. Democrats argued it was a legitimate expression of Palestinian aspirations. But the votes were counted. The resolution passed. Tlaib stood on the House floor as Speaker Mike Johnson read the censure. Her face was stone. She said nothing. Cameras captured every second. Later, she held a press conference. I have always condemned anti-Semitism. But supporting Palestinian human rights is not anti-Semitism. Today, the House chose to silence debate and stifle dissent. The media coverage was massive. CNN, Rashida Tlaib censured for genocidal slogan. Fox News, House votes to punish Tlaib for anti-Israel rhetoric. MSNBC, Tlaib censure exposes Democratic divide on Israel. The New York Times ran a 2,000-word analysis. Every major network covered it live. The precedent was clear. If your rhetoric on Israel-Palestine crossed a line, the House would act. Swiftly, publicly, with consequences. But that precedent, it turned out, only applied to some members. Andy Ogles woke up to 47 text messages. His press secretary, Congressman CAIR, is demanding censure. His chief of staff, Nashville media, is requesting comment. His campaign manager, donors are asking questions. And one message from House Speaker Mike Johnson, call me. Ogles ignored them all. He made coffee, sat down with his wife Monica. She was already reading the news on her iPad. Andy, this is everywhere. I know. CAIR wants you censured. I know. Are you going to apologize? Andy looked at her. For what? For saying Hamas should be destroyed? That's U.S. policy. You said kill them all. That's different. I clarified. I meant Hamas, the terror group, not civilians. Monica put down the iPad. Andy, Rashida Tlaib got censured for less than this. That's when Andy smiled. A small, knowing smile. Rashida Tlaib is a Democrat. Monica stared at him. So the rules are different. He wasn't wrong. Day one, CAIR's censure demand made national news. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News all covered it. House Democratic leadership issued statements. Representative Jamie Raskin, Representative Ogles' rhetoric is unacceptable and inflammatory. The House should consider appropriate consequences. Representative Jerry Nadler, we cannot have different standards for different members. If Tlaib was censured, Ogles should face the same accountability. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the hypocrisy is breathtaking. One member shares a video with a protest slogan and gets censured in 72 hours. Another member literally says, kill them all, on camera, and silence. But from House Republican leadership? Nothing. Speaker Mike Johnson's office released a one-sentence statement. The Speaker believes all members should choose their words carefully when discussing sensitive international conflicts. That was it. No censure resolution introduced. No committee hearing scheduled. No vote planned. Day 2, CAIR launched a national campaign. Censure Andy Ogles. A petition website went live. The first day, 15,000 signatures. Day 3, 45,000 signatures. Day 7, 150,000 signatures. CAIR organized call-in days. Constituents flooded congressional phone lines. Muslim community leaders requested meetings with House leadership. Civil rights organizations added their voices. The NAACP, the double standard is clear and unacceptable. The ACLU, equal application of rules, is fundamental to democratic governance. But still, from House Republicans, silence. No censure resolution. No committee action. Nothing. Here's where it gets interesting. When Rashida Tlaib shared that video, the media coverage was overwhelming. CNN, 47 segments in 72 hours. Fox News, 89 segments in 72 hours. MSNBC, 34 segments in 72 hours. Network News, all 3 evening broadcasts led with it. National newspapers. New York Times, front page, above the fold. Washington Post, front page, 2,000-word analysis. Wall Street Journal led editorial. When Andy Ogles said kill them all, the coverage was CNN, 3 segments in 72 hours, all online, not prime time. Fox News, 1 segment defending Ogles. MSNBC, 12 segments in 72 hours. Network News, NBC covered it once, ABC and CBS didn't mention it. National newspapers. New York Times, no coverage. Washington Post, 1 600-word article, page A17. Wall Street Journal, no coverage. The disparity was staggering. A media analyst later calculated it. Tlaib's incident received 847% more coverage than Ogles' incident in the first week. Why? One theory, Tlaib was a more interesting story. Muslim woman, the squad, already controversial. Her censure was Democrats' divided narrative. Ogles? Just another Republican saying inflammatory things about Middle East. Not newsworthy in the same way. But there's another theory. The media had decided that anti-Israel rhetoric was worth covering extensively. Anti-Palestinian rhetoric? Less so. The pattern repeated itself in how different outlets framed the stories. When covering Tlaib, slogan has history tied to Hamas. Calls for Israel's destruction. Anti-Semitic connotations. When covering Ogles, directed at terror group, not civilians. Clarified he meant Hamas specifically. Controversial but not unprecedented for politicians discussing terror groups. The framing changed everything. Week 2, still no censure resolution. Democratic members tried to force the issue. Representative Ilhan Omar introduced a censure resolution against Ogles. It went nowhere. Republican leadership refused to schedule it for a vote. In the House, the majority party controls the calendar. If Speaker Johnson didn't want to vote, there wouldn't be a vote. And he didn't want to vote. Behind closed doors, Republican leadership had made a calculation. Censuring Ogles would set a precedent for censuring Republicans over rhetoric. Anger the pro-Israel base who supported Ogles' stance. Make them look hypocritical after Tlaib's censure. Potentially cost them a seat if Ogles resigned. Not censuring Ogles would generate Democratic criticism, but that was constant anyway. Look hypocritical, but their base wouldn't care. Protect their majority. Signal to other Republicans that aggressive rhetoric was acceptable. The choice was obvious. A senior Republican aide, speaking anonymously to Politico, put it bluntly. Tlaib is a Democrat. We can censure her, and our base cheers. Ogles is one of ours. We protect our own. That's how this works. Another aide was more diplomatic. The situations are different. Tlaib endorsed a slogan with historical ties to groups calling for Israel's elimination. Ogles clearly specified a terror organization. Not comparable. But most Republicans just stayed quiet. When reporters asked about the disparity, they got variations of, Senator Ted Cruz, I haven't seen the full context of Congressman Ogles' comments. Senator Josh Hawley, I'm focused on my Senate responsibilities. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Andy Ogles is a patriot defending America's ally. Representative Jim Jordan, the real question is why Democrats are so soft on Hamas. Deflect, defend, ignore. The strategy worked. CAIR wasn't giving up. Week 1, petition reached 150,000 signatures. They delivered them to Speaker Johnson's office. His staff accepted the boxes. No meeting was granted. Week 2, CAIR organized a press conference on the Capitol steps. Executive Director Nihad Awad spoke, "We have gathered 150,000 American voices demanding accountability. We are not asking for special treatment. We are asking for equal treatment." If Rashida Tlaib was censured in 72 hours for sharing a video, why has Andy Ogles faced nothing after 3 weeks of saying, "Kill them all" on camera? The question hung in the air. Reporters scribbled notes, but House Republicans didn't respond. Week 3, CAIR shifted tactics. They targeted Ogles' district directly, Tennessee's 5th District. They ran digital ads in Nashville, Franklin, and Brentwood showing the "Kill Them All" video alongside Tlaib's censure. The ad text, 2 members, 2 statements, 2 different outcomes. Why? They organized town halls, invited Ogles to attend. He declined every invitation. They met with local Muslim leaders, imams, community organizers. The Nashville Islamic Center released a statement. Representative Ogles' words have caused deep pain in our community. We are your neighbors, your colleagues, your friends. When our congressman says "kill them all" while discussing Palestinians, we hear a threat. We deserve better. Local newspapers picked up the story. The Tennessean ran an editorial. Ogles owes his constituents an explanation. But Ogles stayed silent, and the House stayed silent. And eventually, the media moved on to the next story. 2 months after the video, Andy Ogles was running for re-election. His Democratic opponent, Maryam Abulfazli, made the video central to her campaign. Her TV ad opened with the "Kill Them All" quote, then showed Tlaib's censure, then showed Representative Ogles, no accountability, no consequences, no censure. The voiceover, in Tennessee, we believe everyone should face the same rules. Andy Ogles thinks he's above them. It's time for a change. The ad was effective in Nashville, the urban core of the district. But Nashville was only part of the story. The rest of the district, Wilson County, Maury County, was deep red. Rural, conservative, evangelical Christian. And there, the kill them all video wasn't a scandal. It was a badge of honor. At a town hall in Franklin, a constituent stood up and said, "Congressman Ogles, I want to thank you for saying what needed to be said. Hamas is evil. They should be destroyed. And I'm sick of politicians who are too scared to say it." Applause filled the room. Another constituent, "You didn't back down. You didn't apologize. That's the kind of leader we need." More applause. Ogles smiled. "Thank you. And I'll tell you something. I'm not going to apologize for supporting Israel and opposing terrorism. If that offends the radical left, so be it." Standing ovation. This was the reality that CAIR and Democratic critics couldn't overcome. Andy Ogles' voters didn't want him censured. They wanted him to keep doing exactly what he was doing. Results came in on election night. Andy Ogles, 62.3%. Maryam Abulfazli, 35.8%. Ogles won by 26 points. In his victory speech, he didn't mention the video. Didn't mention CAIR. Didn't mention the double standard. He just said, "Thank you, Tennessee, for standing with me. Together, we will continue fighting for our values." Backstage, a reporter asked, "Congressman, do you have any regrets about the kill them all comment?" Ogles looked at him. "I said what I meant. Hamas is a terror organization. They should be eliminated. That's not controversial. That's common sense." But CAIR says. CAIR defended Hamas sympathizers. "I don't care what they think." What about the double standard with Rashida Tlaib? Ogles smiled. "That wasn't a double standard. That was Democrats eating their own. We Republicans support our members who stand with Israel." And he walked away. The message was clear. This strategy worked. Say inflammatory things. Face no consequences. Get re-elected easily. So, why did one member get censured while another walked free? The answers are uncomfortable but important. Reason 1, party protection. Republicans controlled the House. They controlled what got voted on. Tlaib was in the minority. Vulnerable. Ogles was in the majority. Protected. Reason 2, base politics. Tlaib's statement made pro-Israel groups angry. They had money and influence. Ogles' statement made Muslim groups angry. They had less money and less influence in Republican politics. The calculation was simple. Whose anger costs you more? Reason 3, media framing. From the river to the sea was framed as anti-Semitic dog whistle. Kill them all was framed as anti-terror rhetoric. The first was treated as coded hate speech. The second was treated as blunt foreign policy. Reason 4, identity politics. Tlaib, Muslim, Palestinian-American woman, progressive. Ogles, Christian, white male, conservative. The system punished the outsider. The system protected the insider. Reason 5, strategic timing. Tlaib's incident happened when Democrats were divided on Israel. Ogles' incident happened when Republicans were unified. Unity protects. Division exposes. Professor Jonathan Turley, constitutional law expert at George Washington University, analyzed both cases. The disparity is stark and troubling. From a First Amendment perspective, both statements are protected speech. But from a congressional accountability perspective, if one rises to the level of censure, both should. The only distinguishing factor is political power. Tlaib lacked it. Ogles had it. This isn't about the statements themselves. It's about who gets to set the standards and who gets protected from them. Professor Lawrence Tribe at Harvard Law added, "We're witnessing the collapse of consistent rule application in Congress. Standards become flexible based on partisan advantage. That's not governance. That's tribalism." But perhaps most damning was the observation from Professor Norm Ornstein at the American Enterprise Institute. What message does this send to future members? Say whatever you want, as long as your party has the majority. There will be no consequences. This is how democratic norms erode, not in one catastrophic moment, but in 1,000 small acts of hypocrisy that nobody stops. 6 months after the video, CAIR issued a report, The Two-Tier System, How Congressional Accountability Depends on Party and Identity. Key findings. Tlaib's censure took 72 hours from incident to House vote. Ogles faced 0 formal accountability measures after 6 months. Media coverage disparity, 847% more for Tlaib. Both statements were protected speech, but only one faced institutional consequences. Constituent backlash mattered only when member lacked majority party protection. The report's conclusion: the American people deserve a Congress that applies its rules equally. Instead, we have a system where accountability flows in one direction, toward the politically vulnerable and away from the politically protected. The report went to every member of Congress. It was cited in law review articles. It was taught in political science classes. But didn't change anything. Because everyone already knew the system was broken. They just couldn't agree on how to fix it. 7 months after the Kill Them All video, Andy Ogles did it again. This time, the target was Nashville judges. He posted on X, "Every judge who released this criminal was a Democrat. As long as local liberals run Middle Tennessee, we are at war. The state should impeach all these judges. Send the guard to Nashville." The post included judges' photos and names. Within days, 11 judges requested additional security, citing fears of violence. The cost to taxpayers, $50,000 in the first month. Democratic members called for accountability. Representative Jerry Nadler, Representative Ogles, is now literally threatening judges. This is beyond rhetoric. This is potentially criminal. But House Republican leadership? Silence. No censure. No reprimand. Nothing. The pattern was complete. Andy Ogles could say anything about Palestinians, about judges, about anyone, and face zero consequences. Because the system was designed to protect him. And everyone knew it. Let's lay it out one more time, because the disparity is so stark it bears repeating. Action shared a video containing the phrase, "From the river to the sea." Direct quote from her, none. She was sharing others' content. Timeline, November 7th incident, November 10th censure vote. House vote, 234 to 188, 22 Democrats voted against her. Media coverage, 200-plus national news segments in first week. Consequences, formally censured by the House of Representatives. Action, said directly to camera, "We should kill them all." Direct quote from him, "We should kill them all, plus everyone. In Hamas plus death to Hamas." Timeline, February 15th incident, still no House action as of December 2025. House vote, no censure resolution ever introduced. Media coverage, 25 national news segments in first week. Consequences, none. Re-elected with 62% of vote. Kept committee assignments. Same institution. Same rules. Different members. Different outcomes. The 8-second video didn't just show one congressman saying something inflammatory. It showed how power protects its own. It showed how the rules bend for some and break for others. It showed how consequences are a matter of party, not principle. Rashida Tlaib learned that being in the minority means vulnerability. Andy Ogles learned that being in the majority means immunity. The American people learned that accountability is optional. And the system? The system kept working exactly as designed. Because sometimes the most important revelation isn't what people say. It's what happens, or doesn't happen, after they say it. 8 seconds of video. 2 million views. 150,000 signatures demanding accountability. Zero consequences. That's not a broken system. That's a system working perfectly to protect power and punish dissent. And unless something changes, the next Andy Ogles is already out there, learning the lesson. Say what you want. Do what you want. If your party has the majority, you're untouchable. Late at night, in apartments and houses across America, people who watch this story unfold ask themselves a question. If 2 members of Congress can say controversial things about the same conflict and one gets censured in 72 hours while the other faces nothing after 10 months, are we really a nation of equal justice under law? Or are we just a nation of power protecting itself? The answer, uncomfortable as it may be, was visible in the numbers. 234 votes to censure Tlaib. 0 votes to censure Ogles. The math doesn't lie. The system does. As of December 2025, Andy Ogles continues to serve on the House Financial Services Committee and the Budget Committee. His Kill Them All video remains on Twitter/X with 2.4 million views. He has never apologized. He has never been formally reprimanded. He has never faced a censure vote. Rashida Tlaib, meanwhile, continues to serve in the House, though the censure remains on her permanent congressional record. She has not backed down from supporting Palestinian rights. She has not stopped speaking out. She just knows now that when she does, she'll be held to a different standard than her Republican colleagues. The CAIR petition with 150,000 signatures sits in a file somewhere in the Speaker's office. Unread, unacted upon, forgotten. Because in Washington, accountability is a luxury afforded only to those without power. And Andy Ogles learned he has just enough power to never need it. Sometimes the most important stories aren't about what was said. They're about what happened after it was said. Rashida Tlaib shared a video with a protest slogan. She was censured. Andy Ogles said kill them all on camera. He was re-elected. Same building. Same rules. Different outcomes. That's not justice. That's just power doing what power always does. Protecting itself. 8 seconds. 2 million views. 0 consequences. Welcome to the two-tier system.